This episode is brought to you by Opill, the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. Opill is FDA approved, full prescription strength, and estrogen-free. Plus, there's no prescription needed. Finally, the days of needing a prescription for birth control are over. Opill is available online and at most major retailers. Take control of your health and reproductive journey with Opill. Birth control in your control. Use code BIRTHCONTROL for 25% off your first month of Opill at opill.com.
Perfect gifts? We've got them at Nordstrom Rack stores now. UGG, Nike, Barefoot Dreams, Kate Spade, New York, and more. Find everything on their wish list, all in one place.
Steve Madden? Yes, please.
It's perfect.
Did we just score?
The greatest gifts of all time? Yeah.
Head to your Nordstrom Rack store to score. Great brands, great prices. The greatest gifts of all time.
Hello and welcome to a special episode of the Halloween podcast. I am your host, Lyle Perez. Today is October 19th, 2024, and this is episode 38 of our Haunted America series. And like I said, this is a special episode of Haunted America because I have actually been to this state and I've been to some of these haunted locations that we're going to talk about. I went when I was 19 years old. I'm 39 now, so 20 years ago, I went to Pennsylvania. I went with an old girlfriend of mine. She was very into like the paranormal stuff, the haunted stuff. That's kind of why we went to Pennsylvania. She was actually from Maryland, and we went to Pennsylvania. We had a great time going to some of these haunted locations. And while I was doing the research for this one, I thought to myself, hey, why don't I just go ahead and do some of the locations we actually went to? And I have some pictures of us actually there at some of these haunted locations that I'll definitely share on our Facebook page. So if you're not on our Facebook page, stop this right now. Go to facebook.com/the Halloween podcast. Give the page a like so you can see some of these old pictures of, I don't think it's really any of me. There might be one or two of me since I was the one taking the pictures. There might be some of my ex-girlfriend floating around in there, which I'll try to like not post those. But I will post some of the pictures of the locations that we went to, some of the evidence per se. I say that very, very loosely of the stuff we saw in our pictures, which I didn't think we saw anything, but my ex-girlfriend, she definitely was like, yeah, look at that. And I was like, I don't think that's really anything. But I'll show you some of those things because I recently found those pictures and it was kind of like a coincidence that I found them right around the same time I was doing this Pennsylvania show. So it kind of worked out good. So when we get to some of these haunted locations that I've actually been to, I'll kind of stop it and let you know some of the things about being there that I remember because, like I said, it was 20 years ago. But I do remember a lot about going there. So, yeah, when we get there, I'll definitely stop it and let you guys know. But go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/the Halloween podcast. Give it a like. You don't want to miss these pictures. I also have video, too, of me being in the room and kind of looking around at the haunted room that we were in. And then, like, my girlfriend walks through. So, I don't know if I want to post that. But I think I'll see what I have because I know I took a lot of video and a lot of the time she wasn't around. So I'll see what I can find. So let me go back to the episode since I went way off script there. With such a long, storied past, it's no surprise that the Keystone State is filled with ghostly legends and haunted locations. And like always, we're going to talk about 10 of the most haunted places in this beautiful state. So grab your flashlights and let's uncover the dark secrets of Pennsylvania. Our first stop is one of the most haunted places in the United States, the Gettysburg Battlefield. This site witnessed one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War in 1863, where nearly 8,000 soldiers lost their lives, and it's believed their spirits still haunt the area to this day. Gettysburg is filled with paranormal activity, including phantom sounds of battle, such as musket fire, the clashing of swords, and the unmistakable blast of cannons echoing through the night. One of the most infamous sites is Devil's Den, where soldiers report feeling uneasy and disoriented. Visitors frequently encounter shadowy apparitions of soldiers, especially Confederate soldiers, moving silently among the rocks. Little Round Top, another key battle site, is also known for eerie sightings of ghostly soldiers and distant battle cries. Even the Gettysburg National Cemetery, where President Lincoln delivered his famous Gettysburg Address, is said to be haunted. People have reported seeing the spirits of Civil War soldiers roaming the cemetery at night, some of whom appear in old-fashioned uniforms, still wandering, seemingly unaware that the battle is long over. The Gettysburg Battlefield is open to the public, with numerous guided tours available, including ghost tours that delve into the paranormal side of this historic site. And the Gettysburg Battlefield is actually a place that I have been to. We've driven by. I remember when we actually got to Gettysburg, my girlfriend at the time pointed outside of the car and she's like, "Look, that's the battlefield right there." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And we were going to stop, but I think when we got there, it was already really getting really dark. So we didn't really want to, we didn't want to stop. We just wanted to go straight to the inn that we were going to stay at. And we never made it back. So that's kind of one of the places that I really wish I could have stopped and really went to the battlefields and like walked around, but we didn't quite make it. But for now, we're going to move on to the next location. Moving on to the Hotel Bethlehem in the Lehigh Valley, we step into a luxury hotel that's as famous for its ghostly guests as it is for its elegance. Built in 1741, the hotel has had a long history of paranormal activity, with guests and staff encountering several different spirits over the years. The hotel is known for the ghost of Mae Yohe, a former actress born in the building when it was a family home. Her singing can often be heard in the halls, especially near the lobby, where her voice echoes eerily late at night. Room 932 is probably the most notorious room, with guests reporting the sensation of being watched, lights flickering on and off, and the sound of phantom footsteps. One of the hotel's most well-known spirits is Mrs. Brong, who was a former landlady of the property. Her apparition has been spotted near the kitchen and in the basement, where she is said to oversee the hotel's operation from beyond the grave. Some visitors have even experienced ghostly encounters in the hotel's mirrors, where faces of unknown spirits appear briefly before vanishing. Hotel Bethlehem remains a luxurious destination, offering guests a stay steeped in history and perhaps a few ghostly surprises. Next, we traveled to Philadelphia to visit Eastern State Penitentiary, a hauntingly beautiful prison that first opened in 1829. This Gothic-style prison was designed to reform inmates through solitary confinement, but instead, it led to extreme isolation, which many say tortured the minds of those incarcerated. The cruel punishments and high-profile inmates like Al Capone left behind a dark energy that continues to linger within the prison's crumbling walls. The Cell Block 12 corridor is known for its intense paranormal activity, with visitors reporting shadowy figures, unexplained whispering voices, and sudden cold spots. One of the most famous spirits tied to Eastern State is Joseph Taylor, a prisoner who brutally murdered a fellow inmate with a pair of scissors. His ghost is said to roam the second-floor cell block, with many witnesses claiming to have seen his silhouette peering out from the cells. Visitors have reported hearing footsteps in empty hallways, and some even claim to have felt an overwhelming sense of dread as they toured the grounds. The solitary confinement cells are among the most unnerving areas, where prisoners were kept for days or even weeks without human contact. Eastern State Penitentiary is open to the public for tours, and during the Halloween season, it becomes the backdrop for one of the country's most terrifying haunted attractions.
This episode is brought to you by Opill, the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. Opill is FDA approved, full prescription strength, and estrogen-free. Plus, there's no prescription needed. Finally, the days of needing a prescription for birth control are over. Opill is available online and at most major retailers. Take control of your health and reproductive journey with Opill. Birth control in your control. Use code BIRTHCONTROL for 25% off your first month of Opill at opill.com.
At your job, do you ever have to deal with a nose roller? How about a snub pulley? Well, if you're installing a new conveyor belt system, dealing with the different components can sound like you're speaking a foreign language. Luckily, you've got a team ready to help. Grainger's technical product specialists are fluent in maintenance, repair, and operations. So whenever you want to talk shop, just reach out. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Our next haunted location takes us to the Old Jail Museum in Jim Thorpe, a chilling reminder of Pennsylvania's darker history. Built in 1871, this prison was the site of one of the most famous events in local lore, known as the Day of the Rope. On June 21, 1877, 4 Irish miners known as the Molly Maguires were hanged after being accused of conspiracy against their coal company employers. One of the condemned men, Alexander Campbell, left behind a mysterious handprint on the wall in his cell, swearing it would remain as proof of his innocence. Despite multiple attempts to clean or remove the mark, the handprint has persisted to this day. Visitors of the Old Jail Museum often report hearing footsteps in empty hallways, doors slamming shut on their own, and seeing shadowy figures in old cells. The most unnerving experiences tend to happen in the basement dungeon, where prisoners were kept in solitary confinement. This dark, cramped space is known for its oppressive atmosphere, with many reporting a cold, ghostly presence lurking in the shadows. The Old Jail Museum is open to the public, offering both historical tours and a chance to experience the hauntings firsthand. Our next stop is Fort Mifflin, located on the banks of the Delaware River in Philadelphia. This fort, built in 1771, played a pivotal role in the Revolutionary War, but is now known for its ghostly inhabitants. One of the most terrifying spirits is the Screaming Woman, believed to be Elizabeth Pratt, who is said to haunt the officers' quarters after hanging herself in despair. Her piercing screams can be heard echoing across the fort, chilling visitors to the bone. Another famous ghost at Fort Mifflin is the Faceless Man, believed to be the spirit of William Howe, who was a prisoner at the fort. He's often seen near the old prison casemates, wandering aimlessly as if still trapped in the fort's dungeons. Many visitors also report being touched, grabbed, or pushed by unseen hands, especially in the old powder magazine and the casemates, where the spirits of former prisoners are believed to linger. Fort Mifflin is open to the public, with both historical and ghost tours available, giving visitors a chance to explore its haunted history firsthand. Our next stop is the Farnsworth Inn, located in Gettysburg. This location is deeply connected to one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War. Originally built in 1810, the inn was commandeered by Confederate soldiers and used as a sniper's post during the Battle of Gettysburg in July 1863. Its walls still bear over 100 bullet holes from the battle, a chilling reminder of its violent past. One of the most tragic stories tied to the inn is that of Jenny Wade, the only civilian killed during the battle. Though not inside the inn, she was allegedly shot by a sniper whose bullet may have come from the Farnsworth house attic. The inn is said to be haunted by the restless spirits of at least 16 entities, each with their own eerie story. One of the most well-known is the ghost of Jeremy, a young boy believed to have been struck and killed by a horse-drawn carriage outside of the inn. His playful presence is often felt in the Sweeney Room, where guests have reported toys mysteriously moving on their own and the sound of light giggling. Another site known for its ghostly tales is the Jenny Wade Room, named after the unfortunate victim of the battle. Though Jenny Wade did not die inside the inn, the room has become a hot spot for ghostly activity. Guests often report feeling an unseen presence in the room. Some have even experienced being gently touched or heard the soft cries of a woman late at night. Several visitors claim to have seen the apparition of a young woman dressed in period clothing, believed to be Jenny herself, standing by the bed or near the window before vanishing. The attic, where Confederate snipers once took aim, is another hotbed for paranormal activity. Visitors often report hearing the sound of boots pacing across the floor, as if a soldier is still standing guard. Shadowy figures and sudden cold spots are frequently encountered here, and many claim to feel an overwhelming sense of dread as they step inside. One of the inn's most haunted rooms is the Sarah Black Room, named after a former resident. Guests who stay there have reported the unnerving sensation of being watched. Whispers in the dark and sudden taps on the shoulder have left many too frightened to sleep. There are even reports of guests waking up to see a woman dressed in period clothing standing at the foot of the bed, only to disappear moments later. The Farnsworth Inn is still open today, offering ghost tours and overnight stays, allowing brave visitors to experience the lingering presence of its haunted history firsthand. And one of those visitors was yours truly. I actually have been to the Farnsworth Inn, and I stayed in the Farnsworth Inn, and I stayed in the Jenny Wade room. So the room that I talked about earlier, I've actually stayed in there. We rented it. Again, this was a long time ago with one of my ex-girlfriends, and we stayed in that room, and it was a lot of fun. Like, it was great being in that room. I remember when we first got to the Farnsworth Inn, we parked in the back, and there were signs everywhere of where to go, and we ended up having dinner there as well. And the burger that I got was actually pretty good, so that was a hit. There was a nice little walkway that you can kind of walk around, and it was a nice place. It was I've never been to Gettysburg before. I've never really been outside of California before then. Well, I have been with like my family, but I mean, no, not on my own, where I could explore whatever I wanted. But it was a lot of fun going there. Being in Gettysburg, like I said, I've never been there before, so it was really fun. It was something new, adventurous. We did go to this inn. We did stay in the Jenny Wade room. I got a lot of pictures. We did a lot of other stuff too in Gettysburg. We took one of the ghost tours. We walked up and down the, I guess you could call it the main street, and we saw where Lincoln stayed, where he wrote the Gettysburg Address. You can, there's a little plaque down below or something like that, some type of a monument. And the tour was like telling us, yeah, you look up there. That's the room he was in, and then you get to like look at the window of the room where he stayed. Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed being in Gettysburg. People were a lot of fun. Of course, when we were doing the ghost tours, there was a moment where one of the locals was like driving by, and they were like screaming at us about the ghosts and all of that stuff. So that was kind of funny. It just goes to show you that some of the locals don't really care about the haunted history. I did also get to see the university, Gettysburg University, and that was a lot of fun too, to actually go and look at that. A lot of history, but the Farnsworth Inn was pretty cool. And again, go to that Facebook page. I keep saying it over and over again because you don't want to miss a lot of these pictures that are from like 20 years ago that I still have. It's so weird that I still have these floating around somewhere, and I just stumbled across them. So I guess I must have had to have shared them with you guys, because they're all going to be up there. You can check out the Jenny Wade room. I didn't experience anything in there. It is a little unnerving to know that you're in that room, and the innkeeper, I guess you can call him, like really lays down the haunted history thick, so you can be like frightened and scared. So it was a little unnerving after hearing like all of the stuff that happened there. And then the room that you're going to be staying in has been known to people have been seeing Jenny Wade in the room and all of that stuff. There is a picture of Jenny Wade in the room that I took a picture of that I thought was pretty cool. But the whole presence of like being there is really unnerving once you hear all of the stories. But I didn't experience a single thing. I slept like a baby. We woke up the next day and we left. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. So let's move on to the next location. Next, we venture to Pennhurst Asylum, once known for its dark past as a state institute that housed patients with disabilities. Opened in 1908, Pennhurst gained a notorious reputation for the inhumane treatments of its residents, leading to its closure in 1987. The asylum's chilling history of abuse and neglect have given rise to numerous ghostly encounters. Visitors and paranormal investigators often report hearing disembodied voices, screams, and the sounds of chains clanging in the old dormitories. The Quaker building is known for sightings of shadowy figures and the feeling of being watched. In the basement, where many patients spent their days in isolation, people have reported feeling physically ill or being overcome with fear. Pennhurst is now a popular destination for ghost hunters, with haunted attractions offered during the Halloween season. So if you're feeling adventurous and you're near Pennhurst Asylum, stop by. You might catch a glimpse of one of its ghostly residents. In Harmony, Pennsylvania, the Harmony Inn has long been known for its ghostly inhabitants. Built in the mid-19th century, the inn has seen tragedy, including deaths and mysterious disappearances, leading many to believe that the spirits of those who passed away here still linger. Guests often report seeing the apparition of Louise Pierce, the wife of the inn's original owner, wandering the halls or appearing near the windows. The inn's third floor is known for its paranormal activity, with reports of objects moving on their own and phantom footsteps pacing the halls late at night. Paranormal investigators have captured EVPs in the ballroom, where ghostly voices are often heard. The Harmony Inn is still open, offering meals and drinks for those brave enough to dine in the company of its spirits. Nestled in the rolling hills of Bedford, Pennsylvania, the Jean Bonnet Tavern has been a stop for travelers since the 1760s. This historic tavern is not only a popular dining and lodging establishment, but also one of the most haunted places in the state. Having survived the French and Indian War and served as a meeting place for those plotting against British rule during the Whiskey Rebellion, it's no surprise that the tavern is said to be home to several restless spirits. Visitors and staff frequently report encounters with ghostly apparitions dressed in colonial-era clothing. One of the most common sightings is a man believed to be a former owner, seen near the bar or wandering the upstairs hallway. There are also reports of objects moving on their own, unexplained cold spots, and even the faint smell of tobacco smoke, despite no one being allowed to smoke in the building. Guests staying at the Jean Bonnet Tavern often hear footsteps in the middle of the night, and some have woken up to shadowy figures standing by their beds. Despite its haunted reputation, the tavern remains a charming spot to enjoy a meal or an overnight stay, offering guests a chance to experience both history and the paranormal. And again, I hear another noise, and there's nobody here. It's been a while since I've actually heard anything on one of these Haunted America shows, but of course it happens on the Pennsylvania show that I have a lot of history with, and I've been sharing a lot of stuff that's not in the script, and now I got this really weird feeling. Let me look behind me. Yeah. There's nothing there, but I got like this weird sensation. I got, like I've been saying on a lot of these things, this weird sensation of being watched, and I'm feeling that right now. Hello? Is that one of you kids? Nothing. No, everyone's asleep. I know everyone's asleep. Weird. All right. So, I'm still recording. I guess I forgot where I left off. I believe I was already at the end of Jean Bonnet Tavern, so let's move on to the next haunted location.
If you're a facilities manager at a warehouse and your HVAC system goes down, it can turn up the heat, literally. But don't sweat it, Grainger has you covered. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products for all your operations, including warehouse HVAC maintenance. And even better, they offer access to experts and fast delivery, so you and your warehouse can both keep your cool. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Yeah, I can't shake that feeling that something is touching me on the top of my head. And it's not the headphones. It's like this weird touching sensation that's happening now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to continue. Whatever it is, leave me alone. All right, so it's the last location now. So let me look at my script. In New Hope, Pennsylvania, the Logan Inn is one of the state's oldest continuously operating inns, dating back to 1727. This historic inn is home to several ghosts, including a Revolutionary War soldier, often seen in room 6. Guests report waking up to find the soldier standing at the foot of their bed, staring down at them with a stern expression. Another frequently spotted ghost is that of a colonial woman seen in the tavern and lobby areas, where she moves silently through the space. The inn is also known for its mirror-lined hallways, where guests have seen fleeting reflections of faces that vanish upon closer inspection. The Logan Inn is still open, offering ghost tours and historic accommodations for those interested in exploring its haunted past. And there we have it, everybody. That is our look through the state of Pennsylvania. I took you guys to some of those battlefields in Gettysburg, those eerie penitentiaries, those scary asylums. We went through it all. And I also gave you some of my personal experiences, and I'm actually having another personal experience right now, apparently. So hopefully it went away. I don't feel that thing on my head anymore. So whatever it was that was floating around has moved on. I hope it's not bothering my kids now, because now they're going to come down screaming. So yeah, that is our look at Pennsylvania, a very fun state with a lot of history, and I had a lot of fun there. I really wish I could go back to Gettysburg. I will one day. I will stay in the Farnsworth Inn once more. Another thing that I remember about the hotel that I didn't mention in the episode, because it's really stupid, very dumb, is that when I first walked in, it smelled so nice in there, like that air freshener that they had in there, that Glade plug-in, whatever it was very, very nice, and it was a nice hit to the senses when you walk in. So I remember that. I don't know if it still smells like that or not, but really, really nice. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Haunted America. Like always, if you're enjoying what I'm doing here at the Halloween Podcast, please leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. I really appreciate it. The Halloween Podcast gets a lot of downloads, and I really don't have as many reviews up there. So if you're a longtime listener, please take a second right now, leave me a review. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the Halloween Podcast, please do so as well. Believe me, subscribing, leaving a review, they really do help on getting into that algorithm of the podcast verse. So please help me out and do those things. If you have any questions, comments, or want to suggest anything for a future show, send me an email to halloweenpodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out those show notes, because there's a little bit more information there, as well as the addresses to some of these locations. In case you ever decide you want to take a tour to them, you have the address. If you'd like to support the show, head on over to our website, thehalloweenpodcast.com. Check out our merch store. We got a lot of cool stuff up there. Feel free to order whatever you'd like. I'll send it out to you. No problem. Thank you so much. And we can't forget about our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Halloween Podcast. You want to get on there now because as soon as this episode airs, which it normally airs in the morning, so as soon as it airs, I'm going to start dumping a lot of images and pictures and stuff on the Facebook page. So if you want to see any of those, head on over there, like our page, and yeah, check it out. Interact with me, say hello. I'm always more than happy to talk to anybody who wants to send me messages. So send me a message and reach out to me, say hello. And come back tomorrow because we are continuing Haunted America with a look at Rhode Island. We are coming to an end to Haunted America. So it's been a lot of fun, guys, but everything has to come to an end at one point. We're getting closer and closer as every day goes by. But the fun thing is that we get closer and closer to the end, but we get closer and closer to Halloween. So until tomorrow, guys, I'll see you later. Have a good night.
If you're a facilities manager at a warehouse and your HVAC system goes down, it can turn up the heat, literally. But don't sweat it, Grainger has you covered. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products for all your operations, including warehouse HVAC maintenance. And even better, they offer access to experts and fast delivery, so you and your warehouse can both keep your cool. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.